Drivers, start your engines!
This is MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. One full hour of news, interviews, and opinion about the past weekend's racing action. Brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Pace car is up.
Now here are your hosts, Woody Kane and Joey Meyer.
Green flag, green flag.
Welcome to Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. And then the fields were all set. Full-bore playoff mode in NASCAR. The Sprint Cup Series runs their first race of the chase at Chicagoland Speedway. Martin Truex Jr. is the winner. And the fields are now set for the XFINITY and Camping World Truck Series. I'm Woody. He's Joey. Welcome to playoff time. If the chase, it already did start.
It did start now, and we already have one driver in the Sprint Cup Series has moved forward, has checked his box to get into the second round. We're in the first round. He gets to go to the second round with Martin Truex Jr.
However,
a little controversy surrounding the post-race issue, the similar issue he had after Richmond, the old dratted laser platform.
Laser
That's
platform.
it, exactly. The
Right,
old
right.
LIS, the old laser platform. But regardless of the issue that he had, the win was not encumbered, which is a new term.
I need to brush up on my dictionary work
Well,
here.
you got to be part English teacher here to go through the NASCAR rulebook. We had the word encumbered added to the NASCAR rulebook this last week to see that teams either encumbered a win or didn't encumber a win. I'm probably using it incorrectly, but it was not an encumbered win.
Which means you wouldn't get the benefits from it for advancing, essentially.
So if it's not an encumbered win, he gets the benefits.
Correct. That's how I understand it. Now,
Who's on first?
I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go.
All right. For those of you guys watching at home, the two of us get to sit in front of the cameras, but there's two guys, and I have to give them a shout-out because behind the scenes, before the show got on, it was utter chaos. And they And they pulled it together within seconds. And kudos to those guys, Daryl, Robbie. Great job. I appreciate your efforts. We hear it in the headset. And you guys did a heck of a job remaining calm at all times. It was that Mission Impossible. The fuse was going to the end. It was the red wire, the blue wire. They cut the right one, and here we are in the air.
And we didn't self-destruct.
And
At
we
least
did
not yet. We've still got a ways to go.
So good job.
Yeah, we did want to make sure that we tell you folks, go check out the deals they have at Outback Steakhouse right now. Lunch special starting at $6.99. Little Joey there, the kids menu, all that is available to you. It's not named after Joey Meyer. It's for kids.
Diet menu.
The diet menu. Is that what you're going with now?
It's the diet menu.
Okay, all right.
It's reduced calories.
However, Kevin Harvick did not get a top 10 finish, so don't forget to race in the Outback Steakhouse and take advantage of that. Next week, if he gets the free Bloomin' Onion, he'll get another try then. Outback Steakhouse done right. Check out their new center cut sirloin, the new app. All that stuff is available at Outback Steakhouse right now, but no free Bloomin' Onion this week because Kevin Harvick struggled through the day.
His car performed well. Rodney and the guys back at the race shop at Stewart-Haas Racing put together a very, very fast Outback car, and we wish they would have gotten in the top 5 to get the old free Bloomin' Onion.
No, he has to make top 10 to get the freebie.
But timing was not on their side.
Yeah.
And that they just could not get back from getting a lap down early in the middle of a pit sequence. Green flag stops. We had a pit tire get off a pit road. NASCAR deems any loose tire out on the grass as a safety issue. And as little and trivial as it sounds, if you had a car spin out through the grass, which we see all the time, and he hit that tire could become a projectile.
Yeah.
So as trivial as it seems, that tire sitting in the grass, what's that going to hurt? It's not going to hurt as long as you don't line up other obstacles or options that have to hit that tire.
Yeah.
And that tire at 50, there's your picture. You see the closeness when the yellow flag came out. Jimmy Johnson got across the start-finish line. Up on the top of the screen, you see the leader clearly at the start-finish line. Kevin Harvick had not gotten there, so he was trapped a lap down. But then later on in the races, he's the guy, the lucky dog guy. He's the first car going to get a free pass. Martin Truex Jr. has a tire issue, and he's able to put new tires on, drive by everybody, including Kevin Harvick, get back in the free pass position. The caution comes out. He gets back on the lead lap. Several hundred laps later, he takes the lead on a green-white checker finish, essentially, and is the winner. And the entire day, the 4-car was trapped 1 lap down.
Timing is everything, as they say.
That's it.
It was a great race in terms of a lot of strategy calls, a lot of comebacks that Joey mentioned during the day, a lot of that playing out on pit road. But here's what the last lap sounded like at Chicagoland.
White flag at the start-finish line. Truex driving away from the field, leaving the battle from second on back.
Elliott to the inside of Joey Logano, the battle for third. Right now, Ryan Blaney is second, but it's all behind Martin Truex Jr. Looking for win number 3 and a spot in round 2. Truex on the back stretch.
Off the end of the back straightaway, Martin Truex Jr. by himself, looking for the checkered flag at Chicagoland Speedway.
Pulling away with a huge smile on his face. He's moving into round 2. Martin Truex wins the first race of the chase at Chicagoland.
One thing that we've talked about, as you heard our guys there, Jeff Striegel, Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, and Joe Moore there, we've talked about it all season long. The 78 has been fast. That's not been the problem. They had some issues earlier in the season, even past the middle of the season, where bad luck would jump up and bite them when it looked like they clearly had the fastest car. Now they're starting to pay those off with wins.
Yeah, earlier when Martin Truex gained his second victory, it was the first time in his career, which started essentially back at DEI in 04 and 05 in the Busch Nationwide Series, and then went on to in 2007 to get in the Sprint Cup. The first time he'd ever had multiple victories. Well, this is the first time, albeit short-lived, he's led the point standings after a race.
Can you
winning.
believe
so
that?
That's a pretty interesting thing, considering we're talking about a 2-time national champion in the Nationwide Series and fairly successful in the Sprint Cup Series with the number of wins and where he's been and the number of teams he's raced for successfully. You know, he was successful at DEI, he was successful at Michael Waltrip Racing, and now he's successful at the Denver-based Furniture Row Racing. So kudos to those guys. I think it'll be short-lived. I think NASCAR is going to have something to say about their failure of it's not encumbered.
Not encumbered
finish.
Which is, in this case, a good thing for him, because that means he gets to take the benefits of that win and use it to advance into round 2. But this is something we'll be discussing in our on-track, off-track segment, Joey. 2 cars essentially failed the post-race laser LIS inspection. If you hear LIS, that's what they're talking about. Martin Truex Jr., the winner. Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, failed it as well. The situation here is based on what NASCAR told us last week. There are certain violations that they would consider egregious and deliberate and a clear advantage. These, according to them, did not cross that threshold, so they're not taking the win away.
Yeah, I mean, we run these cars for 267 laps, 400 miles, they beat and bang. We have things that are bent. Unfortunately, because we're racers, and those of you that watch the show long enough, in racing, we're going to take anything, literally anything, a millimeter, a centimeter, a micrometer measurement of distance that was given to us, and that tolerance in post-race inspection is what's allowed. We take that before the race has even started. So when our cars beat and bang and rub and tough the track out, then we move past the tolerance that they've given us. And that's what we're seeing. And the laser inspection on these cars is so tight to begin with that not only that, but we have the reliability that's being questioned on the laser machine. We've talked about it in the past. I think we're going to talk about it later on in the show. But it's the reliability and the fact for it to repeat itself over and over and over. What you want to do is you want to take a car and go through something and have it measure 1, 2, and 3. Roll it around the building and have it measure 1, 2, and 3 again. You don't want it to measure 2, 4, 6 the second time because it's the repeatability. And we've seen that numerous times throughout the year with this device. So I think NASCAR, again, we're going to talk about it in our on-track, off-track on different ways that we might be able to prove ourselves without using the sensitivity or the lack of repeatability on this laser machine.
You can play along with us as well during the show. My Twitter handle is @WYKane. His is @2, the number 2 spotter. We've got one already, an early Twitterer to us. Zach Copeland wants to know, what about the swerving on pit road? Everybody was talking about that during the weekend, about whether or not that would be acceptable or not. And apparently it was a situation where that was not going to be allowed. So what was the story there?
All right, so what we have, and I wish I could demonstrate this easily, but we take tolerances before the race. And we all drive around in our street cars, and we have groceries in the back of the car, and they all get shifted to one side of the trunk. Well, all we're doing is taking the groceries and shifting them to the other side and putting them back in tolerance. And instead of doing it on pit road, it was becoming a safety issue because as guys were walking to their cars and crew guys were walking to their cars and guys were trying to readjust or realign their cars and the sloppiness in them. Now we just do it down the backstretch. And so NASCAR's taken away. They don't want us doing it on pit road. Right now, they don't have a way to reel in the fact that they can't keep us from resetting the cars to allow them to get realigned for the post-race inspection. So now we don't do it on pit road. We'll do it on the track and keep going just like the way we've done.
All right. So and then again, a casual fan might say, my goodness, why do you even get to that point in the first place where you're having to get stuff out of tolerance and then put it back into tolerance? And why is that okay?
All right. Simply put, a bicycle chain is made up of many links. Each link represents one part on a race car, and each link is built in tolerance. So if I take a link and I can move it back and forth, it's in tolerance. But we add a whole bunch of links together, and if I try to move this link, it's in tolerance. If I move the bottom link, it's in tolerance. But I can take that entire chain now and move it much further because I've taken the whole set of links and their tolerances and moved them to one side.
A little bit here, a little bit there.
A little bit there, and that's what we've done with the suspension on these race cars. Every single part and piece has a tolerance, and it's legal. But when you take all the tolerances together, you got truck arms, you got track bars, you got axle mounts going to the truck arm mounts. You have all these tolerances that are moving, and what teams have taken those tolerances, because again, we're talking micrometers, we're talking inch, less than an inch, we're talking thousandths of an inch, and you move them all in one direction during a race because we're always turning left. So after the race, all we have to do is turn back right, and it resets the car as it did before the race.
All right, there you go. We've got a full show coming up for you here on Motorsports Monday. Matt Tiff, the feel-good story of the year, is going to be joining us a little bit later on, back in a race vehicle in the Truck Series at the Chicagoland Speedway after his brain surgery earlier this year. We'll talk with him, and we'll hear from every driver who made the chase in both the XFINITY Series and the Camping World Truck Series. We'll start with that when we go out. But as we leave, here's Martin Truex Jr. from Victory Lane at Chicagoland Speedway Sunday.
It's just unbelievable effort by everybody. That's why you never give up. That's why you fight till the end, no matter what happens. And we had just an unbelievable race car today. It led a bunch in the beginning, and had that tire issue. And I knew it wasn't over. There was a long way to go. Guys kept their heads in it. Pit crew stepped it up at the end when it counted, and total team effort. I couldn't be more proud of these guys. More proud to drive the race cars. It's just unbelievable to start the chase this way. And we've been so good all year long, and winning a few weeks ago at Darlington, I felt like really gave us some momentum, and we just continued that this weekend. So hats off to everybody here at Barney Visser, Joe Garoni, Toyota, TRD, Furniture Row. Bass Pro Shops has been a big part of this year, and I obviously got to thank my buddy Johnny as well, and just one of them days you dream about.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. One per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
From work life to nightlife, from home to the road, your day can take you anywhere. These fast-paced times call for Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Advanced Comfort is designed to keep up with you, no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. Wrangler Advanced Comfort. Go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable. Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Try on a pair today.
Stay up to date with the latest news from the NASCAR Garage, weekdays on NASCAR Today, midday.
We can enhance the fans' experience, and I think that's what we really need to zero in on and provide.
Hear from the drivers and teams as they chase the 2016 championship trophy.
Change is good in our sport. It re-energizes people, makes everybody, step up to the plate, so to speak.
NASCAR Today, midday, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network, your source for NASCAR news.
Hey, I'm Jimmy Johnson. Now back to Joey Meyer and Woody Kane on Motorsports Monday.
White flag is in the air. The Credit One Bank, 1 to go. Eric Jones, Kyle Larson racing for the win in 1.
Jones by a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths. They'll put a lap on the Ryan Ellis machine. Off the top of turn number 2, Eric Jones. Oh, Larson is in the wall, and Jones gets away off turn 2.
Still only about 4 car lengths between the top 2. Larson's not done yet, trying to build some steam him into turn number 3. We'll have one final shot off turn 4 on Eric Jones.
One final shot, but it appears to be coming up short. Coming down across the stripe for the 4th time this season, it's It's Eric Jones scoring the win. He wins the Drive for Safety 300 here at Chicagoland Speedway.
That's how it sounded on Saturday from Chicagoland Speedway on the Motor Racing Network. That was Mike Bagley, Dave Moody, Kyle Rickey, and then Steve Post at the end there. Eric Jones, what a season he's having, and he's showing you why so many drivers and teams have been high on him, and he's moving to the Sprint Cup Series next year.
Yeah, one of a handful of drivers over in the Joe Gibbs Racing area with the Truck Series, with KBM and the association with Joe Gibbs Racing with Daniel Suarez and Kyle Busch. Led a number of laps, Kyle did, and then had an issue, and Eric Jones took advantage of it and was able to hold off a charging Larson up against the wall, who finds speed against the wall every week, but is unfortunate, just can't close that up there because, again, we talk about tolerances. There's no tolerance for errors up there at the wall, and the wall always ends up coming out and grabbing him a little bit, and that slowed Larson down, and Eric Jones was able to supplant himself there at the top of the list moving forward in this chase.
And he is the top seed in the chase. The Xfinity Series chase begins next weekend at Kentucky Speedway, but here's what Eric Jones had to say both about the race and the chase coming up.
Well, I thought we were just going to be on the bottom the rest of the race. I thought it would take a little bit longer for the top to come back in, but I guess it's the sun baking this track all day. Finally, the bottom was wore out, and I thought we were making a lot of speed down there in the Hisense Camry, but it was just a matter of time before Kyle was going to get there, and I tried to stay on the bottom as long as I could and minimize the risk of air up top. So finally, I saw him coming, and we moved up top, and I saw we still had the good speed up there, and I felt confident if I didn't hit the wall, he wouldn't be able to get us. So a great day for us, man. What an awesome way to start the chase and get some momentum going for next weekend.
How much were you focused on the chase, and that's a 6-point swing going into the first round?
At that moment, I just wanted to win the race, but it is nice to have those extra bonus points. You know, it just gives us a chance to try to point our way through the first round if we don't happen to get a win here in the next three. So I think we have a good shot at all the next three, but it's a matter, it's tough to win these races. So, you know, no Talladega, no Martinsville on the Xfinity schedule. That makes it pretty straightforward. So those are two of my, I'd say, worst tracks, and they're gone. And I love every track we're going to in the chase, honestly. I don't think there's one that we do go to that I don't like, so really excited about that.
Round one of the chase is Kentucky, Dover, and Charlotte in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, Elliott Sadler had a great top three finish to round out his normal season with a couple of wins. They're looking forward to the chase as the elder statesman in the series for Junior Motorsports. This is what he had to say.
Elliott, well, it's chase time. First ever for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You got to feel good about your chances.
We do, man. I got a great race team, and everybody at Junior Motorsports have really worked hard to put us in this position, and we're very prepared, and we're very eager, ready, and to go take on the chase, and we look forward to the challenge that's ahead of us. I got a great team, and I wouldn't look at a battle, but anybody else with these guys I got with me here today.
Elliott Sadler's found some resurgence in his career this season. Remember all the sponsor stuff they went through earlier with One Main Financial saying we're leaving, then saying, well, we're reconsidering and we're staying. That's a huge boost for him.
Yeah, and they've been chasing Joe Gibbs Racing, but both them and RCR have found speed enough to compete, and they had a top three finish to show for it.
All right, the third seed, Daniel Suarez, who got his first victory this season, first career victory. That happened at Michigan. He ran down Kyle Busch to do it. Here's what he thinks about the chase.
So let's talk a little bit about it. Now there's a chase and a championship to be won. How do you stop, refocus, and now go for this championship? How difficult is that to do as a driver?
I don't think it's difficult for me. We just move to the next one. It's going to be like a regular championship for me. I think for every weekend, and I think if we can do that, we're going to be just fine.
Daniel Suarez is kind of what you would call, I guess, a dark horse for the championship. But keep in mind, there's not going to be a Kyle Busch or somebody like that to compete with here for the championship. It's all Xfinity drivers.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the dark horse is, considering it's Joe Gibbs Racing, but he's going to have to battle his own teammate when it comes to Homestead. The interesting combination of Nick Harrison and Ty Dillon. Rumors are Ty Dillon's trying to go full-time Cup racing, so his opportunities are limited now in the number of opportunities he's going to have to win an Xfinity championship. And let's hear about his excitement moving forward.
Well, after today's performance, not real happy. We just weren't good enough, and we can't carry that into the chase, or else we're going to get beat pretty bad. So a little disappointed with our performance. You said it though. We can reset and look ahead. We definitely got to look ahead with our whole program, and where we ran today is not acceptable. And we ran 6th to 7th most of the time, but 6th to 7th is not going to win this championship. So we got to get up there and be able to win races.
Well, there you go. He doesn't sound too thrilled with the way things are going to start it off. But, I mean, they've been very fast all year long.
They have shown speed, and that's the thing that he has to look back on. He can't dwell on the past.
Justin Allgaier comes into the chase as the 5th seed in the Xfinity Series. Here's what he had to say.
Jason Burdett made a great call there at the end to put 4 tires on and put ourselves in position. And unfortunately, that last restart, I just screwed up a little bit and got stuck in the middle and lost in track position. And then just was too tight in dirty air to be able to drive back to the field. And hats off to these guys. They did a great job all day long, all year long. I mean, to get to this point now, to be the final race before the chase, to have the speed that we were looking for today, I think really bodes well. So huge thank you to all the guys back at the shop, Chevrolet, Hendrick Engine Power. Obviously, huge thanks to XFINITY and all they do for our sport and this chase. Hopefully the fans had a good time today watching this race. It's what it's all about. And we'll go to these next 7 and come out guns blazing and hopefully put ourselves in position to win a championship.
Home track for Justin, another car out of the Junior Motorsports stable. And remember, earlier this year, he got the big check from the Dash for Cash in the Xfinity Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, again, Junior Motorsports and RCR have found speed to compete with Joe Gibbs Racing, but one of the teams that has not found speed all year long, but they have an opportunity to get their eggs in a basket and get them in a row, is Darrell Bubba Wallace. Seated 6th. They haven't shown speed and to compete with those other 3 teams, but this is what he had to say.
I'm a little frustrated with today's race, but you know, my team, myself, Shredder, we gave it our all today, and it's all we can ask for. We just have to get better stuff, you know, from back home to bring out to these races and be competitive. So probably get my hand slapped, but it is what it is. We're running bad enough for many weeks in a row. It's getting pretty annoying. We'll regroup. We'll go into this debrief on Tuesday and just lay it all on the line, see what we can bring to Kentucky to be competitive. We're not looking at the chase as a championship hope. We're just looking at it as, hey, we run good at Kentucky. Hey, we run good at Dover. That's what we're going to do.
Well, there you go. And another guy not too thrilled with the way things are going at this point of the season. But as you say, a new opportunity for him in Kentucky with the repave earlier. It's a little bit of a different ball game.
Yeah, a repave and a lack of Sprint Cup guys, so they can go out there and shine on their own and hopefully get that Roush performance back to what it was expected at the beginning of 2016.
Absolutely. Brendan Gaughan, another guy, he was a little under the weather at the start of the weekend, had someone filling in for him to cover the 62 car, but came back on Saturday in the Xfinity Series and raced there. He's now headed to the chase after an 8th place finish on Saturday.
You know, this really made me want to keep racing, you know, because at this point normally you get here and you got 2-3 guys that have a shot at the championship and you're just running for a position. Having a playoffs format gets the fans pumped up, but it keeps the teams pumped up. So really this prolonged me wanting to be here and come in a 6th seed, I think is what it is for the chase. So, you know, we'll go out there and see if we can't get our way to the second round. RCR's got a little bit of work to do. We got to improve just a little bit to make that last round. But if there's a guy that can do it, I know it's Richard Childress, so I'm at the right place.
Hold that thought because we're going to talk a little bit more about the whole playoffs thing when we get to on track, off track.
Yeah, interesting. Our 8th seed with Brendan Poole has to be inspired by an almost win earlier in the year at Talladega, but also the fact that Chip Ganassi Racing as an entire company has found speed in the Sprint Cup Series, okay? And the reason that's so important is that speed always trickles down the Xfinity Series, and this is what his thoughts are moving forward.
Yeah, you know, we had a really good few weeks leading up to today, so today just didn't go how we wanted to go. But, you know, I really feel like our team's had a lot of speed. We've really been able to be fast and contend for wins over the past month or so. So it's awesome to be a part of this first chase. And I really feel like we're going to be able to make it to Homestead if we have no mistakes. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I remember earlier when we had him on the show, he said, I won Talladega for 5 minutes.
That's exactly.
And then it turned out to be Elliott Sadler, and that was a springboard.
He had the thrill of victory.
For 5 minutes.
And the agony of defeat all in one lap.
Yes, he did. Yeah. All right, the 9th seed heading into the chase is Ryan Sieg in the 39 car. Here's what he thinks going forward.
Yeah, it's great. We had that top 3 in Daytona, and that bumps us up a couple spots. So we're 9th right now. That's looking good. And we unload great next week. We should be able to contend and hopefully beat some of these other cars and or beat the guys in the chase like we need to and move on to the next round.
You know, one of your feel-good stories, your lower-funded, not working for a big horsepower team, Ryan Sieg has shown that the little engine that could, and at the end of the race, he said the little engine that did, and I thought that was really cool.
I saw that as well. That was really cool.
Yeah, our 10th seed with Ryan Reed out of Roush Racing Performance. They're down a little bit on performance, but a past race winner at Daytona. Those guys definitely know how to get it done. What did he have to say about the chase?
If we can have a good run at Kentucky, I know we have fast race cars there. I think we'll have a decent run at Dover, and then Charlotte is a place where we're going to need to go to work. So no matter what, you can't have days like you did today and tear up race cars. And so for me, that's my number one goal is to keep the fenders on it, and then after that, go to work on getting the best finish possible.
Yeah, Ryan Reed had a situation where he tangled on the track. I believe it was with Kyle Larson in that race, and there was a little bit of back and forth about that. But this is the time of year where everybody wants to raise their game, and you start to see tempers flaring a little bit. And now with that playoff intensity coming, I think it's going to be fantastic to watch.
A lot of give and take, but at this time of year, you can't just give all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw with him and Kyle Larson getting together off of exit of 2.
All right, our next seed is Brandon Jones is the 11th seed. He started off the season like gangbusters, slipped a little bit late, and of late their performances started to rebound again. Here's what he thinks.
Had that incident in qualifying that set us back there some. So, all in all, as many incidents, stuff we had, came back to, 10th right there. So that was awesome. Pretty tickled to death, too, making the chase as a rookie year. I didn't think probably at the start of the year that's what we would have been here. And these guys have given me awesome race cars all year long. We're going to keep getting better each race.
He's always a lot of fun to talk to, and it's good to see him in that chase and having a good year to reward the consistency that they've had.
Yeah, all they got to do is wrap every race up into a bigger package and be able to execute on all the levels. They've shown speed, they've shown things on pit road, but being able to put the entire race together, and that'll keep Brandon Jones up front. Rounding out our round of 12 for the first round of Xfinity Series is Blake Cook, who we had on the show a little bit ago with a very unique situation. They brought a sponsor into the series, and the sponsor said, heck, I don't want to be a sponsor. I want to be an owner. So you can know the excitement level moving forward with Blake Cook here.
I think we're going to be a real threat, at least to get to the next round of the chase. Watching that race there, we had a top 10 car, the second to the last run, came in. We made the wrong adjustment, so but we're also learning things. So I think now we can take the reins off and go race and try to make it to the second round. I think we can do that.
There you have it, the 12 drivers that make up the first ever NASCAR Xfinity Series chase grid. Kentucky, Dover, and Charlotte, the first 3 races. I think you're going to go to both New Hampshire and Kentucky this week, right?
Yeah, we'll start our day Friday at Loudon, New Hampshire with Brad in the Sprint Cup car, and then Saturday, Ryan Blaney and myself, a couple other guys are going to jaunt over to Kentucky and do that little bit of qualifying and racing over there. So we get to partake in both of the events this weekend. But what's really cool when we just listen to, if you're not having a chance to listen to us live right now and you're listening to our podcast, one of the drivers that you just heard will be a champion in Homestead.
Yep.
That's a guaranteed fact, and that's pretty cool.
It is. It's really cool to see. A first ever chase in the Xfinity Series. Up next, we'll talk on track, off track, and start diving into the Truck Series chasers. All that is just ahead on Motorsports Monday. Stay here.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
Missed the race this weekend?
Danica Patrick is up in flames. Paul Menard will crash.
Or just want to relive the best moments?
That was an amazing finish.
Catch all of the action and highlights right here.
Jimmy Johnson gets nailed, and it's a big one.
It's the Sprint Cup replay getting you on the fast track to victory lane.
Woo! Good job! Good job! Kansas, yes!
Don't be left out of the conversation Monday at work. Listen to the Sprint Cup replay on MRN.com Mondays at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m.
MRN's Winged Nation, presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and again at 12:30 p.m. Steve Post and Ashley Strimmy give you a full half hour of sprint car news and interviews with the biggest names from the world of outlaws, ASCS, All-Star Circuit of Champions, Pennsylvania, Knoxville, the West Coast, and all dirt tracks in between. MRN's Winged Nation on MAV TV, presented by Sage Fruit, Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Eastern on MAV TV. MRN On Demand. Listen or watch when you want and where you want. Find all of MRN's original programs in the Media Center at MRN.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Race Day Nation on iHeartRadio. Find NASCAR Live, Motorsports Monday, Winged Nation, NASCAR Coast to Coast, Pod Tracks, Sling and Dirt, The Inside Line, and The Straight Line. Motorsports programs when you want, where you want. MRN On Demand.
Hey, I'm Casey Kane. Now back to Joey Meyer and Woody Kane on Motorsports Monday.
We are back on Motorsports Monday. It's time now for On Track, Off Track, the segment of the show where we talk about some things we believe are going well in the sport and some things that maybe aren't going quite so well. Joey, let's start with you. What is good in your world right now?
We have the first ever chase in the Xfinity and the Truck Series. We're one race into the Sprint Cup Series. Other sports have brackets, and we have all these kind of papers filling out. And at the bottom of all the brackets, the 64th bracket, or in our case, the 12th bracket, or the 12th driver in the Xfinity and the 16th in the Cup and the 8th in the Truck, there's a team that nobody ever expects to do well, and they're called the Cinderella story. And they're normally in racing aren't a part of the large powerhouse teams. But those are the guys you have to be scared of because nobody's watching what they're doing.
And they got nothing to lose.
Exactly right. So they're going out right now knowing, again, they have a potential to get into the final round at Homestead. And then it's a who knows. Who knows? Why not us? And that's a theme that a lot of teams are gathering. But the Cinderella story isn't just a great story to make the chase, but it's what you can do in the chase. And everybody's looking for sponsors, guys that have them, guys that don't have them. They all want to make a sponsor happy or a potential sponsor happy. And what better way to be a part of a championship series running than to perform well at these tracks coming up? Don't forget, one of these races is Talladega. And just as easily as a Cinderella story guy could win Talladega, one of your front rotors could have a very bad day and take him totally out of contention as we move forward.
It's more likely at Talladega, but it could happen at any of the tracks.
Exactly right. But, I mean, we have Martinsville as an anomaly. We have Loudon. We have these short track races. But the Sprint Cup, the Xfinity Series, and these trucks, nothing is a given. No matter how well you've run the past 26 races for the Sprint Cup and the handful of races, whatever it is for Xfinity and truck, 25, 30, whatever. Anything can happen in these next 7, 8 races for us, and that's what's really cool with these Cinderella stories. We all expect Joe Gibbs Racing to be strong. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But to see the Blake Cooks and the John Hunter Nemecheks with no sponsor on their car, they
just did get a 5-race sponsor.
And that's really cool. So that's why this is so cool. As a Cinderella story, those guys, kudos to you guys. Good luck, and hope to see you in Homestead.
That dovetails exactly to where I wanted to go, and with what Brendan Gaughan said earlier, it's what brought him back to race again this season. This playoff format to where, as he said, normally at this time of year you have 2 or 3 guys with a chance to win it. And I remember thinking years ago, man, I wish we would get, at that time the last race was Atlanta, get to Atlanta and have 4, 5, 6 guys with a legitimate shot to win a championship. Well, now that's what we've got. Guaranteed every year we're going to go in all 3 National Touring Series. All those series will have 4 guys with a chance to win it all in one race, and that is what you want for. That's that Game 7 moment that Brian France talked about. That's that formula that you see work so magically in the NCAA tournament where anybody can survive and advance. It's not about the consistency through the year as much as it is, okay, now go perform. It's playoff time. Raise your game if you can and perform. See if you can get a championship. It adds a whole level of excitement that this sport, frankly, hasn't had until the last several years for the Sprint Cup Series and now has for its other National Touring Series as well.
Yeah, 24 years ago back in Atlanta when the Sprint Cup's Winston Cup Series back then was coming to a championship, we had Alan Quickie, Davey Allison battling for a championship. Third driver, help me out. Put you on the
I don't
spot.
remember who it was,
yeah,
who the third one was.
Alan Quickie.
Maybe it was Elliott, yeah.
Yep, and then so you had those 3 drivers battling for a championship. The driver that won the championship led 1 more lap than the other guy. The third guy got in a wreck. Davey Allison got in a wreck with Ernie Irvin, took him out of contention. Alan Quickie led 1 more lap because Paul Andrews was on the box talking about, we got to stay out and lead 1 more lap for a championship. That excitement level is now what we have with the playoff system. Every series going to Homestead will have 4 drivers competing for a championship.
That's fantastic to see. It really makes for a lot of drama for sure. All right, let's talk about what's not going quite so well.
Well, we keep bringing up post-race inspections, and during a championship season, you don't want to talk about teams because fans get confused, race teams get confused. We've used the word encumbered, for goodness sakes, in our rule book. We have rules. We have definitive lines drawn in our rule book that teams must follow. The last 2 weeks, we've seen one team fail laser post-inspection, LIS, laser, exactly right. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, the problem is both sides. There's not one definitive answer. The teams are always going to take a tolerance that NASCAR gives. The laser isn't repeating enough with consistency that teams understand that this is when this fails, it's a definitive line in the sand. Yesterday, we saw a team fail the laser, drive around the garage, go through the laser, and pass. And those kind of inconsistencies. Without doing anything.
Yeah.
Years ago, we used to have ride heights, and the temperature would affect the spring heights, and we understood that. Now we don't have that anymore. So what's set in the car is set in the car. The car isn't being changed, or temperature doesn't affect the cars as they ride around the garage. It's simply the repeatability of the machine that we're using to say whether you're intolerant or not. There's not one person being a problem. It's not one piece of equipment. It's a whole thing, and right now it's a very muddy water situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to lean more and more towards something Matt Kenseth said weeks ago, which was we inspect the cars before they practice, before they qualify, before the race. Why do we need to inspect them again after the race? Because if you get that car through tech and get it on the track for the race, the actual competition, then why do we need to do it again after the race? Because we've seen NASCAR with the new pit road system, the cameras busts guys if they feel like they're pulling the fenders away too much or pulling the side skirts away too much to gain an advantage, make them come back and fix it, and then you're dealing with it right then on the spot. I'm wondering if maybe this is something that might not work going forward.
Well, repeatability in any kind of inspection process is very, very important. But the minute we take away an inspection process, race teams are going to find a hole to jump in and try to manipulate. We can design things, and when I say we, I'm saying race teams can design things to fail after 10 or 20 laps. So post-race is still very, very important. We need post-race inspections. Just because you can't pass post-race doesn't mean the machines are all at fault. The race team's a part of the problem too. NASCAR tried to broaden the tolerance so that the machine would be more consistent. Well, all we did was take the tolerance.
Yeah.
So it's both sides. There's not one person or one piece of equipment to blame. But right now, we definitely have a muddy water situation.
Absolutely, we do. And that's my off track is the laser inspection itself. I still can't believe that it's good for this piece of equipment to be disassembled, bounced up and down the highway, and reassembled every week. I've had numerous crew chiefs tell me that they'll fail inspection, go through, change, or go around and change exactly what they said needed to be changed with officials watching, go through again, and it'll fail by the exact same thing in the exact same spot. Other crew chiefs have said, just as you mentioned a moment ago, they'll fail post-race, push it out, not change anything, come through, and it'll pass. To me, that speaks to something else is going on. I understand that teams are going to try to take advantage whenever they can and gain an advantage however they can, but I think in some respects, part of the problem here is the system itself.
What I would like to go to, and I haven't heard anybody say this, and I might be a genius, but right now we use pre-qualifying and pre-race, we use the laser machine. What I would like to see is post-race go back to mechanical gauges, go back to measuring tapes to where it's a human actually physically touching the car. It's not sitting on this platform hovering around on discs. But let's go back to the wheelbase gauges and the bubble gauges and see if we can just get a little less. We have a 0.01 tolerance that the Cole Pern and those guys were talking about yesterday with the 78 that they failed. I don't know if the tolerance is that needed or not. That's not going to make that much of a difference whether we're going to be competitive or not. So I think there's a different way we can post-race these cars without using the same equipment as we did pre-race.
Absolutely it is. All right, let's segue a little bit here while we've got a couple of minutes to some Truck Series action. We've got Matt Tifft coming up on the other side of the break, but we also have the field set in the Camping World Truck Series for their first ever chase. William Byron, the rookie over at KBM Kyle Busch Motorsports, has had a wonderful year, and he is the top seed heading into the chase next weekend.
I think we've tried both the good and bad this year so far, so kind of got that out of the way tonight, and I'm looking forward to the chase in the next 7 races to see what we can do. So we've got some good racetracks coming up for us, and I think it's going to be a really good show, and I think we're going to have a good Liberty University Tundra.
Tracks that we've got in the chase, any that you feel particularly good about?
I think Texas comes to mind. We won there, and I think New Hampshire got a win in the K&N car. So just focused on New Hampshire right now, getting through that first round, and just racing as hard as we can every week.
New Hampshire, Las Vegas, and the wild card at Talladega, the first 3 races in the Truck Series chase.
Yeah, that Talladega race, man, it's going to be a big, big race. People are going to be on their damn edge of their seats trying to get to the end of the race. You want to stay up front, you want to ride around, you want to get to the end of that race, but the bottom line is you can't win the championship there, but you can sure lose it.
Absolutely.
One of the things that ThorSport had to overcome this year was a fire in their building. It didn't stop Matt Crafton. They got 2 wins, and he's really looking forward to the chase with those guys.
Really looking forward to going to New Hampshire. That's always been a really good place for us. In Las Vegas, we've led a lot of laps there and feel like that place owes us one. And then I don't even know what's after that one, to be totally honest. We're just taking one race at a time and just looking forward to New Hampshire right now.
There you go. Matt Crafton, a two-time champion. He won back-to-back championships. And after all, you mentioned that they've had to overcome at ThorSport. It's remarkable that they're in the position that they're in right now. John Hunter Nemechek, as you mentioned, most of the year without sponsorship. They've got a new 5-race deal. He won 2 races this year, including the controversial one at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park earlier. Here's what he thinks about the upcoming chase.
I feel like we have some good momentum going into it. I felt like we had a great truck tonight. We had a right front go down, so that was unfortunate. But looking forward to going to New Hampshire, kicking it off, and get going in this first round. So hopefully we can make way and make it into the next few rounds.
There you go.
Yeah, what you've seen now is you have William Byron, who's leading the points in a KBM truck, and Eric Jones has been over there. Daniel Suarez are all running them guys. But one of the back markers or back guys that are driving KBM is Christopher Bell, and he rounds out our first list of halfway through. He has some excitement because his trucks have been showing speed. They just need to put the whole race together. He's looking forward to the chase. Here's what he said.
I'm really excited about it. Jerry's been doing a great job for me, and we've been having really good JBL Tundras. So just got to continue to get better here, and today was a step in the right direction. We were able to load it in the trailer without a scratch on it. So looking forward to go to Loudon. We've spent some time there, and I think we're going to be all right.
There you go, the top 4 seeds in the Camping World Truck Series chase. We'll take a break. When we come back, Matt Tifft will join us on the other side after his first race back.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, check out Slingin' Dirt with David and Ashley Strim. They talk with dirt, late model, dirt modified, and UMP modified drivers from all over America. Join David and Ashley on MRN.com, the MRN app, and YouTube as they give you the news, results, and their opinions of dirt track racing. Plus interviews with the biggest race winners and newsmakers from New York to California and all dirt tracks in between. Slingin' Dirt Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, the MRN app, and MRN.com.
Hey, I'm Joey Logano. Now back to Joey Meyer and Woody Kane on Motorsports Monday. How does Joey Meyer have a radio show?
There you go. He always loves to pick on you and I.
My buddy Joey, who's flying with me tomorrow, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
That could lead to something there. All right, let's get back to some Truck Series racing. Matt Tifft returned to the driver's seat of the number 11 Toyota Tundra for Red Horse Racing in the Brain Gear Surface Sunscreen Machine, and he had a 12th place finish. Matt, welcome back on a lot of levels, but, man, it had to feel great for you just to be able to get behind that wheel and say, yes, sirree, I am back.
Yeah, that was definitely a big one checked off. It's just you never know how the first one getting back is going to be, and there's some things I wish we could have gone a little bit more our way, but I thought all weekend we were pretty competitive, and I said it before that these guys they were in mid-season form. They're going to the chase, so I was just trying to make sure I did my job well enough, and it was a whole lot of fun to be back racing, I can tell you that.
You know, Matt, one of the things we've chronicled on the show is we had you on the show right after surgery, and you had some bandages, and you had a really good smile on your face, and that was really uplifting. But part of your return back to racing wasn't a matter of just letting scars heal and getting stitches removed. There was a serious amount of rehab, physical and emotional. Let's just talk about the actual physical part of it going back to racing. Give our listeners an idea of what it entailed, whether it was simulator racing or late model racing and the such.
Yeah, definitely an interesting process. I don't know if there's any kind of textbook way to come back from a brain tumor surgery. I don't think it's.
No.
I think it's the first time in our sport, and I hope it's the last time in our sport. Honestly, it was definitely a different process because, my surgery was July 1st, and I was told for almost 8 weeks that I really couldn't do much exercise or anything like that. At least 4 weeks I wasn't allowed to do anything, and then just, starting to go on walks and stuff after that. So, I guess our race, I'm not exactly sure what the date of it was this weekend, but, probably August teens, somewhere in there, is really when I started getting back mobile. And, about 2 weeks after that, I was back in a late model. I did some go-karting the day before that, and I got back in a late model at Hickory, ran about 100 laps, and then the week leading up to the race, I ran about 300 laps up at Hickory, and I knew I was good to go, and did a lot of physical conditioning to get back in shape. And you don't realize how much you just, really your body just isn't used to getting back to normal after all the medications and all that, and all the crazy stuff they had me hopped up on for a while there. So, there was definitely a lot of, conditioning stuff to do, which I'm still working on now, but definitely, I'm in a lot better shape than I was even at the Bristol press conference. So it's amazing how much a month can make a difference.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I remember being at that Bristol press conference, and one of the things that struck me that you talked about was in your rehab process, the sense of smell. Tell folks how that went for you, because that was a really interesting story.
Yeah, so it was the week after surgery, and it was finally when my the effects of the anesthesia had kind of wore off, and I remember, and I was pretty, just coming off of the anesthesia, I was already kind of nauseous as it was, and I came downstairs, and my mom, she was cleaning some windowsills with Murphy's oil, and I had, nobody else thought it was a bad smell or anything. And I came downstairs like, oh my God, what is that smell? Not that it was bad, but it was just so strong.
Yeah.
And it just made me sick. I was like, how did that, how did that happen that I smelled it that much? And then for the next couple of weeks, it was like, this is incredible. I haven't smelled all this stuff in years. And, I could go in a food court and tell you a Taco Bell from a Subway or something like that. But, just certain little smells that, like little sour smells and I guess apparently cleaners, household cleaners, I could smell a whole lot better. So that's just, I'm used to it now, but it was one of those things that was pretty fascinating to, kind of have to get used to that after surgery.
Yeah, it's you probably get tired of talking about it, so we're going to talk a little racing now. We get to go racing. Now we have a series of chase people. You returned on this race trying to get that victory with a potential of moving forward and having good momentum, even though you probably weren't going to be involved in the chase. But now we move forward at Red Horse Racing. When you showed up this last week, how did the truck perform, and what problems did you have?
You know what? We actually had really, really good speed, and that's been that's kind of been the story over the summers. I felt like the whole Red Horse Racing team, but especially the 11 team, had really picked up the pace, and Scott Zabelli did a great job with that, and everybody who stepped in really helped out with the program. I honestly felt like we had at least a 5th to 7th place truck this weekend, and starting off the race, I think we qualified 11th, and we had already moved up to about 7th or so, and then I got a really strong vibration in the left rear, and not exactly sure what happened with it yet, but I know we had a loose left rear wheel, so had to pit, and unfortunately that kind of put us behind the 8 ball and got trapped a lap down for a while, but we fought and we got the lucky dog back, and then got the lucky dog back and ran probably 15 laps or so on the lead lap on old tires, and that kind of was, we were hoping was going to work out because people had just taken tires with about 60 laps to go or so, and then we were able to put 4 stickers on, which Kyle Busch was able to do also, so he and I weren't going to be on the same schedule, and we restarted there, and I think that was after the red flag, and a big chunk of debris came up and put about probably a 6-inch long hole in the left front of the nose. So at that point, all of our aero was killed and just was way too tight in traffic to be able to move through the field. So, it was disappointing that ended like that. We were still running inside the top 10 before the last restart, and I just, unfortunately, was on the bottom when that lane just really didn't go. But, I think had things played out in our favor without the first wheel incident happening, and then later on, without being in that spot with the debris there, I feel like we could have run in the top 5. And our speeds kind of showed that when we were when we were going through traffic and stuff, unfortunately a lap down, but we showed that we had good speed, which I was happy to see that at least that we had the speed. And now we just need a couple things to fall our way, which that's just racing. So can't do anything about the things you can't control.
Matt, you said afterwards that you felt like you were intentionally trying to be a little more aggressive on the track than you had been previously. Is that something when you were thinking about, I want to get back, I want to do this, I want to try that, I want to see if this is going to work? Was it something that you were thinking, here's how I want to do things going forward, or was it just something that applied to this track for this particular race?
No, that was really just going forward. I think one of the things I realized was that going through this whole process was that this may not be around forever, and I need to make the most of my opportunities. And it's not to say I wasn't trying before, because I was trying as hard as I could, but just a few things that you see that separates guys from the good and the great ones. And I've always felt like I've been in that good court category, but I need to step up a little bit. So I was trying to experiment just with I'll be honest, I've never really been a fan of trying the high line, and I just force myself to go out and try it and try to be more aggressive on restarts and things like that. So I try to learn from that, and we'll try to use it for the rest of the remaining races this year, and keep trying to be more aggressive. And you don't win these races without taking chances, and I think I need to do more of that. Still be smart about it, but take more chances and just be more confident in my abilities and in myself. So I think that's probably something you'll see more of in the future.
Wrapping things up here with Matt Tifft, who returns from brain surgery in the number 11, ironically sponsored Brain Gear Surface Sunscreen to a top 12 finish. How'd you feel after the race, and what schedule do you have for the rest of 2016?
I felt great after the race. That's I know a lot of people have been wondering about that, just how I physically felt. I was fine. I was ready to go run some more laps to go pick up the spots that we lost. So that was obviously a great sign that I was happy with, to be able to go out and feel okay and race against some of the best truck drivers in the world. So we have Kentucky this weekend. I'll be in the ARCA race as well as the Xfinity race, and over at Joe Gibbs Racing we'll have I think we have 3 more after this weekend. So we'll have Kentucky, Charlotte, Texas, and Homestead. And then in the truck, I believe we have 6 more races. So still got a pretty decent schedule to go here this year. And I'll be in the truck the remaining schedule minus New Hampshire this weekend.
Wow, you're going to jump right back in and get really busy. That's cool to hear and cool to see you back on the track and with a nice performance. Obviously, it wasn't the one you were hoping for, but you battled back a couple of times from some adversity, and that newfound aggressiveness, I think, will serve you well going forward. Matt, we really appreciate the time, and it's so great to see you back at the track. Good luck and continued success.
Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you later.
There you go. How about that? That is no question the feel-good story of the year right there.
100% in the truck series specifically is the fact that they cut his brain open and operated and took a piece out of it. I mean, I don't know how much more without making it a bigger story than it is. It's a pretty cool deal that he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the important
thing. Yeah.
And the fact that he's able to return to what he was doing and compete at a high level. They were performing well up until he had the loose wheel issue, came to pit road, and Red Horse. That truck won a race with DeBenedetto.
No, it wasn't. It was Brett Moffitt.
Brett Moffitt, thank you. In Michigan, was able to win that race and beat his teammate Timothy Peters, who we'll talk to a little bit later on in the show as well. But a great story with Matt Tifft, and I appreciate him being on.
All right, well, let's do that then. Since we're talking trucks, we left you off at halfway of the 8 drivers who are competing for a championship in the first ever Camping World Truck Series chase. Next up is our 5th seed, and that is Johnny Sauter.
Well, as a whole, I think we're doing okay. We got to show a little bit more speed, and I think that we will. It's go time now. So we've got just as many top 5s as anybody in the series, and I think we're right there for top 10s with everybody in the series. We've won a race, and I just got a bad restart there and got shuffled out there at the end and tonight. But proud of everybody on our Alamo Legion Travel Chevrolet. We just the chase is going to be interesting, but if my memory serves me, I've won at 6 of those last 7 racetracks. They're all really good racetracks for me. I love Loudon next week. It's one of my favorites. So just a lot of great racetracks for me personally, psyche-wise, that I enjoy going to. So we'll be all right. We're going to work hard at this.
Yep, and competing in his third full year, we have Ben Kennedy with his first victory of the year for GMS Racing. His excitement level moving forward is his thoughts.
Assess where you are as a driver and this race team now as you go for this championship.
Yeah, our goal is to make it to Homestead. I think we can do it, as long as stupid stuff like tonight doesn't happen to us. So we're going to be smart. We race smart all the time. We stay out of trouble, and that's where we've beat these guys, just being there at the end. So we're going to keep doing what we do and hopefully make it to Homestead.
Got his first win of the season at Bristol earlier this year on that Wednesday night race, and he had Operation Barbecue on the truck this weekend, and they were right beside the MRN crew cooking that stuff all weekend and then fed the crew, so that was really cool. Thanks to Ben Kennedy for that. Next up is our 7th seed, Daniel Hemrick.
All in all, just proud of all these guys in this draw type Ford F-150. We battled all year. We didn't win a race, but we did it the old-fashioned way, made the most out of every race, put ourselves in position. Now we have a shot to go at this thing. Maybe at times had the speed we want, but at the end of the day, we made the most out of every situation. So we can hold our heads about that. Now we can regroup and go to New Hampshire next week, and we got one goal in mind.
Smart racer with Daniel Hemrick was able to tie the points leader of William Byron as the most points at the end of the season, who just announced he gets to move over to the Xfinity Series with Richard Childress Racing. A good
full-time
job.
deal.
Full-time deal for those guys, but had the same amount of points as William Byron, who had 5 wins. So it shows a team with 6 third-place finishes and a second to round out the year. For a good job for those. The last driver rounding out our top 8 in the chase, Timothy Peters, has not had a season where he hasn't won a race in over 8 years. His teammate, we talked about, won the race at Michigan. So his excitement level has to be high with their performance. So here's what he had to say.
We're just approaching it like any other night, for sure. Obviously, with Chase, put a lot of intensity around everyone, but as long as we executed and did what we needed to do, we would be fine. We fought back from adversity on our Red Horse Tundra. So 8th isn't what we wanted, but we didn't win a race yet, but they better look out.
There you go. They better look out. He knows he's still got some chances left, some opportunities.
Performance at Red Horse has been there, and that's just a matter of executing the race in a whole series from start to finish.
All right, there you go. The 8 drivers who are in the first ever Camping World Truck Series chase, and they will open it up this coming weekend at New Hampshire. You can hear that one live here on the Motor Racing Network. One more break on Motorsports Monday. We'll come back and look ahead to New Hampshire and Kentucky after this.
This is MRN Motorsports Monday.
From work life to nightlife, from home to the road, your day can take you anywhere. These fast-paced times call for Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Advanced Comfort is designed to keep up with you, no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. Wrangler Advanced Comfort. Go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable. Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Try on a pair today.
In the Outback, we think the best part about racing is the noise, the engine, the pits, and a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. Especially a Kevin Harvick top 10 finish. That's because if Kevin Happy Harvick, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet, places in the top 10 in today's race, there's free bloomin' onions this Monday. So you'll have a happy bloomin' Monday. Only at Outback Steakhouse. Valid with any purchase. 1 per table. Participation may vary. Registered trademarks used with permission.
Motor Racing Network has a way for you to reach out and express your thoughts and opinions on NASCAR. It's the MRN Fan Forum Hotline.
Wondering what's the first thing you tend to think? I was curious
about those new rules from what I heard. Call in 844-4-ASK-MRN. Got a question or comment for a driver or MRN personality? 844-4-ASK-MRN.
You guys keep it on. Let's see you guys next
It's
weekend.
the Fan Forum Hotline, your connection to the sport of NASCAR.
Hey, I'm Ryan Newman. Now back to Joey Meyer and Woody Kane on Motorsports Monday.
There you go, Ryan Newman, who didn't have any fireworks with Tony Stewart after they both got a talking to from NASCAR at Chicagoland Speedway before things got underway. But we've got New Hampshire and Kentucky coming up. Cup and the trucks are in New Hampshire. Xfinity heads to Kentucky.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is we actually have Chase started last week in Chicago for the Sprint Cup. The short track series of Kentucky, the truck series at Loudon might allow some payback to start.
Oh, here we go. Cole Custer did not make the chase, and he and John Hunter Nemechek still have a feud going on. Need to tell you that our friends over at the Performance Racing Network will have the Xfinity Series race at Kentucky and the Cup race at New Hampshire. Motor Racing Network will have the UNOH 175 and the Camping World Truck Series. That one starts at 12:30 Eastern Time on Saturday afternoon. You, sir, doing double duty, as we mentioned?
Yep, flying from Loudon, New Hampshire on Saturday. We'll jet across the couple of states to get over to Kentucky and watch Ryan Blaney wheel the discount tire Ford Mustang.
All right, the playoffs are here. Cup has already started. Xfinity and Truck start this coming week. We'll bring it all to you right here on the Motor Racing Network, and we'll see you right back next Monday.
You've been listening to MRN Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in again next Monday at noon Eastern for all the latest news, results, and interviews from NASCAR on MotorRacingNetwork.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand at the MotorRacingNetwork.com Media Center. Or you can download it from iTunes or Stitcher. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.